What hobby do you enjoy that's cheap/free? I make things out of willow. Any bendy stick will do. Takes weeks, but I just keep adding more sticks until it fills the space where I see the object. I started by deciding to make a nest one day out of some logs and limbs. It turned into a huge weaver's nest. Since then I've done moose, sea serpents, herons, owls, just all kinds of things. Here's a horse, https://i.imgur.com/mgtzmqv.jpg, someone asked me to make for them. I grow my own willow now, but it was definitely a free hobby. Hiking. Find parks or trails in your area and check them out. There are a lot of cool places to explore. I actually have honest talks with myself through writing. You'd be amazed how much reading your own thoughts can help you. Working out. Even when stuck indoors self-isolating, or whatever, there is a lot of stuff you can do without any equipment. Bodyweight stuff like press-ups, squats, sit-ups, etc. Reading books, chess. Enjoying nature. Walking. GeoGuessr origami. You can buy paper for dirt cheap, and spend hours folding. Playing tabletop role-playing games with friends. It can be an expensive hobby if you want it to be, but it can be totally free too. All you need are a couple of friends, a rule set, and a pencil and paper. Dice are nice too, but technically you can get away with an app, or just Google. Baking. Most baking ingredients are cheap, and you can end up saving money on not buying baked goods. Reading. Books are generally cheap, and nowadays you can even find lots of classics online for free. There could be a slight possibility that we may, in fact, be in a video game, and that making the right sequence of steps, jumps, and crouches could activate cheats. For the past 6 weeks, I've been determined to figure these codes out, but so far I've only activated a sprained ankle and diarrhea. At the very least, it's exercise. Pouring river water in my socks singing. Crochet. Procrastination. Disc golf state park pass for the year, and then just buy discs, can get a set for like. After that cost, it is just gas to get to the park. There are paid courses, but I enjoy the ones at the state parks. Plus that a year I pay helps upkeep on the parks. Hiking. Everyone talks about the best gear and map reading skills, but in reality to get started all you need to do is get yourself a semi-decent pair of boots/trail runners and head outside. If you're a beginner, stick to popular trails, then you can slowly build up map reading skills and slowly get gear if you want to. Overthinking. Making environments for tabletop pen and paper games. You can start out very cheap just using what you have. Looking at rocks, collecting rocks, using sandpaper and labor to polish rocks. Cross-stitch. Basically pixel art on fabric. You can get a ton of patterns online for free, or just a few bucks, and the thread/fabric for a first project usually runs -10, and will keep you busy several hours. You can buy a beginner kit at any hobby store. It's what I do to unwind every night, and I've had some beautiful results, if I may say so. Sleeping. Scroll through Reddit trying to find new hobbies and enjoyment but not actually getting anywhere. Mushroom hunting. Drawing. Bird watching and feeding. Yelling at clouds. Cooking can be a pretty cheap hobby. I mean, you have to eat anyway, might as well enjoy the processes of making your own food. Disc golf. Most courses are situated in or around public parks, so they are open to anyone. All you need is 3 discs to get started. A driver, mid-range, and a putting disc. A starter set might be your good to play around. Mind you, the hobby can get expensive. If you find that you like the hobby, you're gonna want to get discs with better quality plastic that won't warp when you snipe a tree. Different discs for different situations, a bag to carry them all in, etc. But just to find out if you like the hobby, the initial buy-in is remarkably cheap. Reading. Check your local library. They likely lend out ebooks for free, and you can read them on your phone if you don't have an ebook reader. There's a lot of crafty skills that can be done very cheaply: embroidery, needle felting, sewing if you're willing to get creative with your fabric sources, and drawing just takes paper and a pen or pencil. Painting can be fairly cheap too, depending on what sort and quality of paints you use. There are tons of free art tutorials on YouTube. Knitting is relatively inexpensive, especially in the beginning when you're learning technique, and yarn quality isn't as important. Once you learn the basics, you can make scarves and hats quickly and easily. I like to build blanket forts and stuff. Yeah, I know I've kinda outgrown it, but I still think it's fun. Cooking is a lot of fun. There are a ton of basic recipes to begin with online for free. Embroidery, while there are lots of tools and fancy equipment you can get if you get really into it, it's one of the cheaper crafts to get started with. You just need some fabric, a hoop, some needles, and some embroidery floss. You can get started with about. I bought one kit to see if I liked it, and then used the leftover materials plus a piece of scrap fabric to start making my own designs. Kits can be expensive, but if you don't have a kit, you have your feet, knees and hands. It looks weird, but you can still practice rudiments, and off time. Don't need drums to drum. Free video games from Epic Games. Fishing. There's people that'll spend thousands, but if you have a fresh or saltwater access nearby, it's an inexpensive hobby to get into that'll keep you entertained. Reddit. Creating weird/creepy things out of the stuff in my house that I don't use. It's just fun to stare at them playing/listening to music, walking in the nature. Writing. While I have spent money on it, literally just a world building software, I can do it for free. It's a great place to offload all my thoughts and ideas. And it's also really fun to just get into the headspace of the various character perspectives. Cooking isn't free, but for a long time I've tried to do the most I can with whatever ingredients I have available. Forcing myself to become more imaginative and creative with cooking, it's become a hobby for me. Now I've been professionally trained and had plenty of kitchen experience, but cooking at home is still a hobby. It's not expensive if you're not always trying to shoot for the stars. Just focus on making the meals you were already making, and find ways to church them up a bit. Arrowhead hunting. I think it's neat to find something that humans made that hasn't been touched in hundreds or thousands of years. I live near a river in the Midwest, US. And the farmers' fields along the river tend to have a good supply of Stone Age tools/weapons. Always get permission first though. Crocheting. If you are using cheaper yarn, acrylic, it can be very inexpensive. Once you start getting into higher quality yarns and tools, that's when it can become very pricey. Cheap hobby, probably doing word searches. TF2 biking. Bikes can be really expensive, but I found a rusted bike lying on the sidewalk. Bodyweight fitness. Pull-up bar/gymnastic rings are great, versatile equipment that can be bought for about $30. Does cooking count? Sitting on the couch and daydreaming about space fleet battles. Running disappointing people. Chess. Card tricks. Juggling. Table tennis. Coding. I've written my own emulators for retro gaming systems, Atari 2600, NES, Game Boy, etc. Kumihimo, macrame and decorative Chinese knotting, cycling along canals, walking in the woods, hiking. At most, you pay for the gas to get there, and maybe a small fee to get in the park. Walking paths are pretty dope. Just walk, see how far you can get, pick up the pace, clear your head, it's good stuff. Chess, I will email politicians asking for their autograph. Since politicians work for the people, they usually oblige. I have received correspondence from my local MP, Random mails in South Africa, to a few Norwegian prime ministers. I don't why I do it, I guess I like getting things in the mail.